So I'm getting a lot of what I'm just going to consider spam from people claiming to have businesses that want to partner with me in my YouTube channel. This is a new problem for me because I have not historically meandered into the sales and marketing aspects of businesses as a person who has traditionally just been an engineer. I have allowed the sales and marketing people to do their thing. I'll ask questions from time to time, but mostly I just, if I was in a position to delegate, I did so. And if I was in a position to just not be involved, that was best. There have been times in the past when I've asked questions and tried to learn about this. And to be honest, anytime I tried to learn about business in prior roles, they would generally be like, "Oh, you must not have enough technology work to do. Let's give you more of that." And that was generally the case. I would ask questions because I was getting bored. But the big problem with that is that because I was so productive as a technology worker, it was something that happened a lot where I had time to go and ask other questions because I would get the other work done fast. And so as part of that, what I've learned through my career is that when I ask the wrong questions, I get more work assigned to me, and that is something that has actively limited my ability to learn more about the business side. Now, because I mean, if I'm asking business sales and marketing questions, they go, "Wait, you're an engineer. Let's give you more engineering work to do." That's just how it is. So I'm going into this for the first time. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm getting these requests, and I'm thinking to myself, "WTF? what what is going on? What does this person actually want?" And so what I'm doing when I get these messages is I'm reading them in a truded virtual machine that's stopping as much network traffic as possible, and looking at them and going, okay, well, is this something I actually want to respond to? If the answer that I'm responding to them is a no, and it's just a clean cut and dried no, you can't change my mind, it's a no, because I've done my due diligence at that point. I've looked up the company, I've looked up the person contacting me, I've validated that they don't fit my requirements, or that there's something shady or sneaky about them that I can't trust. Because let's face it, I have background in cybersecurity as well, so as part of that I'm traumatized, and I actively don't trust people because I don't want to, in Eve Online parlance, say, I don't want to get ganked. And so the big issue there is that if you understand that I am a software development engineer who played Eve enough to where I had capitals and T2 blueprints that I used to fund my entire alliance and kick the band of brothers out of the South back in the day, and you know that history, then you know that you know, when I'm a part of a good team and everything else, then I can definitely get stuff done. But that was just a game, right? And so I can't sit here and say, "Ooh, I'm a big business guy because I was big in Eve Online." No, the fact is, it's kind of stupid to say that. And I was only as successful as I was in Eve Online because of the connections that I was able to make with other people, and the fact that I was able to find common goals with other people and work diligently with them as a team in order to get that going. Now, I would love to have that same kind of teamwork in the real world with my business dealings. I think that would be the best. But I also know that there are some limitations that keep me from being able to do that because, quite frankly, I can't trust anybody that reaches out to me. If I'm the one reaching out to them, there's a bit more trust there because they weren't the ones that independently came into my life with something that they wanted. But if they reach out to me, that is a possible attack. I am too traumatized from my experience with cybersecurity. I am too traumatized from those startups and everything that happened with them. I am too traumatized. I do not consider those requests to be safe in most cases. So my default is, if I get one, is to prove that it's safe first. And when I can't do that, it's a no, which means I don't respond. So here's the fun thing about this. Okay, if you should be an American citizen. Okay, reaching out to me first of all, Like, I get it. You could be a green card holder, whatever. But if you don't have that connection, if the government hasn't said you're safe enough, then I don't want to work with you. That's my first bar. I get people contacting me from Egypt, and I'm like, who the are you? And I look them up, and I see they have social media presence, but it's odd. It's too new. It's not updated enough. And I look at that and I go, oh, this is a spy. This is somebody trying to get me to interact with them so they can take advantage of me later. Okay, well, I'm not going to reply to them. Okay. And that's the important thing is that I have to have some sign of identity that I can validate because I want to make sure that you're really who you say you are. And that is the first prerequisite. In banking, they call this know your customer, but in reality, it's really about knowing who your partners are. I learned due diligence on this the hard way playing Eve Online. And so as a result of that, I will never give this up. I will do the background checks. I will make sure that if I have enough information on you, I will probably spend the $30 to do a full in-depth dive on you and figure out your criminal history, all those fun things, because that's the bar. And if you can't pass one of those checks, then that leads to other questions. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, look, your background check says that you got hit up for weed. They found an ounce in your pocket, and you were just a kid, or maybe that was just yesterday. But you know, that stuff's legal in my state. I don't use it myself, but my bar is simple. If it's legal in my state of Washington, then I'm probably not going to hold it against you. The big issue for me is I want to be able to deal with my anxiety. It's an anxiety buster for me to get that ability to say, oh, well, the State Department says that they're safe, so they have a green card, or they're an American citizen, so they have too much and they're attached to everything in America. And cool, I can hold them accountable. But most importantly, are they somebody that I can chill with? Like, I'm not going to work with business partners that I don't like because business partners are effectively a marriage. And I learned that dealing with some really difficult alliance leaders and dealing with some really difficult guild leaders before I started my own company in Eve Online, and because I'm using those euphemisms now. And so the big issue there is that, like, if I don't get along with you and I don't actively want to spend time with you, that's going to be harder on me because that's going to be, how can I put this? It's going to be a repulsive force that's going to stop me from wanting to interact with you. And eventually that will kill deals. And I don't want that. So, from the very get go, if you're the sort of person that I won't want to work with, then I'm not going to. I'm just not going to reply. And so, part of that is you should be physically located in the USA. Yes, you can be an American citizen or green card holder and live somewhere else, but that's actually extremely suspect because if you say you're an American citizen and green card holder and you're not living in America, then why are you doing that to yourself? Why are you dealing with the double taxation rules? Why are you dealing with the ticking time bomb of possibly losing your citizenship because you've been outside the country for too long for the tax year and all other BS that can happen? Like, there's all sorts of problems with this. So if you tell me you're an American citizen, but you're not physically in America, that's a red flag to me. Okay. So the thing about this too is I want to show that, as part of being physically located in USA, that means I can hold you physically accountable under the American legal system if you screw me over. Um, every deal I go into, I want to have as much collaboration as possible. As part of that, I also want to know that the other side is going to have to follow the same rules as I do. I don't like the idea of somebody being able to screw me over and then I can't hold them accountable because they live in a different country and there's no ability to do any kind of enforcement. And so as a result of that, I just don't place myself in that position. I will never place myself in that position again because I've been there. I've been screwed over that way. It will never happen again. I've been burned once. No. And what it really comes down to is that they have to be aligned to integrity. If somebody is emailing me and claiming that they have a business proposition for me, and I can't find that they're aligned to integrity, then I don't have any interest at all in who they are or what their deal is. And they will never get a response from me, period. This is to protect me. This is to protect my future deals. It is to protect the people that I work with because I don't want to end up working with Epstein or something by mistake. And, you know, if you try to invite me to a Diddy party, I won't go. It's that simple because I'm going to do your background check. I'm going to literally do a full legal background check. I'm going to pull your criminal records. I'm going to pull the places that you've lived. I'm going to have that information be sent to me because guess what? $30 and that's all I need. So, not a big deal. And so the big issue here is that I am scared and traumatized. So when I get told, hey, Dwayne, we've got a business proposition for you, I go, oh, really? Is that a threat? And, as an engineer, I don't know how those things work. Like, I could be doing it completely wrong. I'm under the impression with sales and marketing people, they are generally, it's considered, how can I say this? The impression that I've been given is that the sales and marketing people that are willing to just go into the room and figure it out are considered, hunters or fearless or whatever. And I have respect for that. It's definitely something that people can do. But from my perspective, because I'm so ignorant of my abilities when it comes to business and everything else, I prefer to be a little bit more conservative around who I interact with and everything else. Not just because I'm an introvert, but also because, from my perspective, the people that I interact with are going to influence me, but they're also going to influence all of you. I have to do what I can to protect all of you. And so, from my perspective, if I'm pumping out content or I'm talking to you like this, I need to be able to give you rules that are safe, and I need to be able to work with people that are safe for you. The reason I get people contacting me and asking me to be a business partner is they see that my channel has a few thousand subscribers, which, to be honest, is an amazing thing, and I didn't think it would ever happen. But the big thing about that is that because they see that as an audience. They see that as, oh, we can market our brand to you, and the people that watch Honestduane can be aware of our product, and then we'll have if we get enough of them converting, then maybe even if we get 10% of 5,000 people, like that's still a pretty decent chunk of change when you think about it. So for a startup, right, first 50 customers, that's all they need to get started and start iterating, right? And so I don't want to abuse you. I don't want to abuse that. And so if I do any kind of like partnership or business branding or sponsorships or anything like that, it'll be with companies that I can legitimately trust. And if in the moment I choose the wrong one and it doesn't work out, then I want to want you guys to know up front, I'm sorry, because I did my best and I did everything in my power to make sure that the companies involved were legitimate and actively were who they said they were, because my own anxiety wouldn't let me do it any other way. And so when I'm inevitably raked over the coals by the internet for partnering with the wrong brand, uh, watch this video again and realize that humans make mistakes. Um, and when that happens, trust me, I'm doing everything in my power to make sure it doesn't. Uh, so there you go. But yeah, if you're out of India or Egypt or something and you're messaging me, stop. I have absolutely no interest in working with you at all. I can't validate who you are. I can't validate that you have the good intentions that you say you do. There is absolutely no way for me to be safe because even if I did trust you and we worked together, you could literally just not pay me and there'd be no way for me to go after you because of the difference in countries. So no, just not interested and not going to place myself in that situation. The safest thing for me to say is no, and so that's what I say. But Are you, or maybe you're a VC or you've got the resources to start something locally in America. Maybe you are born in America. Maybe you're in Texas or something. I don't know. But if you are an American citizen and you have a clean criminal record, or at least a criminal record that isn't a big deal in Washington state, then, maybe we can talk. I'll still look after you. I'll still try to figure out who you are and what you're about. But the thing is, I'll also ask you, and I'll give you the ability to hang yourself by your own rope if that's what you want to do. Because I believe that talking to people is important. And I believe that if something is a possibility for me, then I should give you the benefit of the doubt and at least have a conversation. But to get to that conversation, this is the bar. I have absolutely no interest in working with people that I cannot validate are safe. Okay. And I imagine that given the sheer number of digital influencers who are female, that this is not a bad request, because I would imagine that the women on the platform probably get some pretty terrible requests. And I know that because I've seen some of those requests. Okay. I have friends that are influencers who are online, either chronically or not. And, because they're female, because they're attractive, whatever, they get attention, and sometimes it's attention they don't want. I'm lucky. I am an ugly software development engineer. Like, and I go out of my way to, uh, how can I say this? I'm not cute enough to get the wrong kind of attention normally. And when I do get that attention, I make sure it goes away quickly. And that is a privilege that I have as a man. And so, if you are a female influencer, and I can look you up and validate you, and you have ideas on, how to do this better, please contact me. And if you're not a female, then, if you're an influencer and you have more experience of this, then contact me. I actually don't care what your gender is, but I find it interesting that women have to do more due diligence and more safety work generally. And so I feel like their experience and knowledge might actually be more beneficial to me, uh, because I find myself with a very high bar, and I know that women often feel the same. And so the end result is that if I can find partners that are aligned to integrity for these business deals, then I might learn something. But if they're not physically located in the United States and they're not American citizens that I can actually do background checks on and validate that they're actually human and they're who they say they are, then I'm not going to work with them, because I'm going to be following what's known as know your customer rules, which is a financial regulation thing. I figure if I start in compliance and I follow all the compliance rules from the start, then I won't have to worry about scrambling to fit them later on. I can just be like, okay, cool. Here's our audit trail of me following all these regulatory compliance and making sure it's good. Everything is copacetic. What's next? And so I want to start with the end in mind, which is I'm going to only interact with people that I can do validation of, because my goal, and let's be clear about this, my goal is to work with people that will do well for all of you. And I don't want to end up with somebody who's, how can I put this? I don't want to end up in like a Mr. Beast type situation where somebody on my staff is completely destroying my brand because of my long time association with them. Uh, I'm actively going out of my way to make sure those kind of people aren't in my life from the start. And I think that's fair. So, hope this helps. Hope this answers some questions. And if it doesn't, just, ask me below, because that's what I'm here for.